Hey everyone, Joe here. We're reflecting a lot about Holy Week as we lead up to Easter. It's Good Friday. We're thinking about the sacrifice Jesus Christ made. And in that story, there's a very intriguing part of that story that really struck me a couple of years ago. It's the conversation between Jesus and Pilate. Pilate makes several bold declarations, asks a lot of questions. When Jesus decides to speak to Pilate, when Jesus asks questions back to him, all that's intriguing to me. In one particular exchange there, Pilate asked Jesus, "Are you a king then?" And Jesus said, "Anybody who understands the truth recognizes who I am." And then Pilate said, "What is truth? What is truth?" Now, that question gets asked a lot. I say often the Bible could have been written yesterday because of its relevance. And this question, what is truth, is a question that gets asked a lot. There's people in our day that would say truth is what the majority decide. If we vote on something, then that's the truth. The only problem with that is that what happens when the majority turns evil or wrong? Do you know that the Nazi regime was voted in? Slavery was a popular thing in its time, and both of those eras we would say were horrific eras. What is truth? Other people say that truth has evolved over time, just over the millions of years of evolution, that we just figure out what works. Truth works, and that's the pragmatic view. And a lot of people would look at it and say, well, hey, that works for me. If that works for you, then that's fine. If that doesn't work for you, then whatever. But that runs into a real problem, because what if something that works for me intrudes on what doesn't work for you? Or because I'm trying to make something work for me, that hinders or hampers how life's going to work for you. What is truth? If only we could just live our own lives and be free. And how many people look at Christianity and say, it's so confining, it's so narrow, it's so restrictive. What is truth? Jesus said, when you know the truth is going to set you free, he said in John chapter 8. And then he said, in John 14 and verse 6, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. In John 17 and verse 17, sanctify them through your word is truth. James chapter 1 has a fascinating phrase. It's always intrigued me. It says, whoever looks into the perfect law of liberty. How often do we think about law producing liberty? Obedience bringing about freedom. How often do we ever really think about that? So when Pilate asked that question, what is truth? He was reflecting what's very common in our day. What is truth? How do we know what is right and wrong? How do we know what's for sure? And we look into Scripture, and it makes claims, and it backs up those claims, that God has established right and wrong. God has established truth, that which is right for all people in all places at all times. What is truth? You know, when you look at the religions of the world, they're regional in their strengths. The Middle East or the subcontinent of Asia, they're regional. But when you look at Christianity, because it's truth, it actually appeals to all cultures, all languages, and it's actually traveled. The epicenter of Christianity has traveled from the Middle East to Europe to North America, back to Asia and South America, and a lot of places around the world. It's one of the indicators to me that the gospel of Christ is truth. Pilate didn't know what he was asking when he asked Jesus, what is truth? And Jesus left that question hanging as if it was a rhetorical question, because he knew that the rest of Scripture taught us the answer to that question. What is truth? It's not up to you or me. Truth is what God says is right, what God says is wrong. Truth is epitomized in Jesus Christ. Pilate's words, what is truth? Epitomized in Jesus Christ.